I'll be honest. There's another series in the West that if for the love of God one team don't pick it up, it might not get competitive at all. And it's honestly probably one of the what we thought was like a four, just both basically both teams are just camp championship
I'll
contendership.
say it. No,
Let's say
I
yeah.
had the Phoenix Suns as possibly being a championship contender. Yes, once they got KD, yeah,
Yeah.
I had them as a championship contender.
And watching them, the Phoenix Suns down 0-2 already to the Denver Nuggets. Man, what can you say, man? What do you think about
Yeah.
this, man?
So I'll be honest, like that's Jokic being Jokic in the game too, but Jamal Murray has been stepping it up for the Denver Nuggets. One thing that we have both been saying about the Denver Nuggets in the last few years when they've been in the playoffs is where's Jamal Murray been at? Where's he been at? Obviously, he had some injuries, a few years ago when Jokic's first MVP, even last year, he was missing I believe he was missing just a few games though. And then he came in like right towards the beginning of the playoffs. But either way, like they keep coming out as close to a number one seed or number two seed pretty much. The Denver Nuggets the last 3 years, and now I think this year they're finally showing that they're a true number one seed. I'll be honest, man. Like Jokic is doing his thing. He's playing at an MVP level. You got Jamal Murray out there actually giving you close to 25 points. Obviously not every game, but he's giving you that. Then you got guys, obviously Aaron Gordon almost getting you that 20. He's getting you 19 points. And Michael Porter Jr. is doing his thing. He's finally stepping into his own. I think he's learned the role he's playing right now. Yeah, he wants to get the ball more and shoot more, but Jokic is not going to let him do that when he's on the field. Jokic needs to get those balls down low so that he can pass it out to the outside and get some assists too and have his guys shoot. But one of the guys that's been really stepping it up is Brown. Bruce Brown has been balling out.
Mm-hmm.
I think even in the first round, I just seen a lot from him. Once Bones Highland got traded to the Clippers, Bruce Brown got a lot more run, with the second unit, and he was actually even getting in with the first unit a few games. But now he's actually really shooting the ball very well, shooting over 45%, shooting 38 from the 3-point line just in the playoffs, which is amazing. And the what Denver has is incredible. Now on the Phoenix side of the ball, the way that they played the first round, I was applauding Devin Booker, but not as much Kevin Durant. I'll be honest, Kevin Durant kind of looked like he was in the shadows in that first round against the Clippers. Now he's got to kind of shine if he wants his team to come out on top. This series is going to be very hard for the Phoenix Suns to come back from. What I see this as is I see one team that has stars, and then the other team has amazing role players. Like you literally have one of the best benches with the Denver Nuggets. And then the Phoenix Suns, they have the worst bench in the NBA. You know that there's 58 players that are averaging more points than what the Phoenix Suns are averaging from their bench. They're only averaging like 12 points from their bench, which is insane. And just this season. And there's 58 players in the NBA by themselves that are averaging more points than that whole bench. That's just insane right there to me. And that just shows you that the Denver Nuggets were built as an all-around team, and Phoenix Suns were built as a scoring team with stars. I want to hear what your analysis is on this, but I will say that I think it's going to be very tough for Phoenix to come back from this.
No, it's definitely a good thing to think about. I mean, we seen the Phoenix Suns, we seen the Dallas Mavericks. Certain teams go towards a real big push to get high quality superstars, gut their defense, get rid of their best defenders. Dorian Finney, Finney,
Finney Smith, yeah.
yes, Dorian Finney-Smith,
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. Um, and Michael Bridges, trade him off, and now pretty much get left with nothing. Um, is that really the way to go? I mean, it begs the question. You got teams like the Nuggets, like you said, a bunch of role players, one true superstar, and they kind of allow their team to kind of grow into themselves to get themselves past the hump. With that being said, though, I will say the Nuggets, in my opinion, have the most pressure this year to win a
That's a good
championship.
point. Good point. I don't
Like a
even think
lot of
just the
people will
Nuggets.
say the Warriors or the Lakers, But no, with the team the Nuggets had, back-to-back MVP, being
I was
right
gonna
there on
say
the
Jokic
cusp
too.
the whole time, finally having Murray back from injury playing like Murray, finally having Aaron Gordon play like Aaron Gordon. No more excuses for Michael Porter Jr. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. Once again, the number one seed. The Nuggets, in my opinion, have the most pressure to win the championship because of the fact that they have nothing but the pieces already there. We've all said, oh, they need that one more step, one more step. They obviously they never had to go get a superstar. They're already damn near the best team in the West for the last couple of years, but we're
Yeah,
just on the brink. Now
yeah.
they put themselves past that brink, but can they close it out? Can they do it without that basically true superstar help? So we'll definitely see what they're gonna be able to deal with. But at the end of the day, the Suns are the only team left in the West that isn't deep and doesn't really have a bench. You could make an argument for the Warriors. They
Mm,
don't have the best team to begin with, but the Lakers have shown that they can be deep. And at this
yeah,
point,
they got deep
they
after the trade deadline.
after the trade deadline, exactly. So at this point, we're gonna see how the Nuggets can survive through this playoff run against different types of teams. Like the Timberwolves was kind of just like they were just getting their role going. Like I don't understand how they had all those big men and still couldn't do nothing. But the Nuggets played with their food. Like they were no competition. Um, and at this point, the Suns don't look like no competition, and it's definitely because of that defense. I mean, it's not because of the offense. You know, the two-star players, obviously KD and Booker are definitely doing what they're supposed to do. In both games, they both scored 50 plus, 60 plus. Like they definitely are getting their points, but they can't stop anything on the other side of the ball. So
Mm,
we definitely like I agree. I definitely do think it's gonna be hard for Phoenix to really come back. But hey, 2 games at home, let's see what they can do.
that's
But
true. That's true. We got to see what they can do, and I do expect at least KD to come out hot in that third and fourth game. You know.
no, honestly, it's not, to me it's not even the scoring. Chris Paul was ineffective. He was honestly
True.
looking bad the
True.
first couple games. So him being out might honestly share the ball a little more, just make the offense flow a little better. But it's they got to find a way to put people in front of the basket. Like where's Aiton? That's the real question. Where's Aiton been?
Thank you, thank you. I was gonna get to that in a little bit because I was gonna say how much Jokic has been balling out on Aiton, man. He's been eating them up. He's been literally eating them up. Nah, for real, Jokic has been balling out on Aiton all series.
No, and he's definitely gonna have to step it up. Like Aiton honestly didn't really impress the first series either. Honestly, Zubac didn't look that bad.
You're right.
So
Zubac he was eating them up too, on especially on the offensive rebounds. You're right about that.
and it's crazy. 'Cause I remember when we talked about potential matchups, uh, or not even that. This was the yeah, it was the episode we did about the trades. We
Hmm.
talked about like just where these teams gonna go if we see them going to the playoffs. I always said like obviously this team is healthy. Like they did good because I think they're gonna do good because historically, Aiton doesn't play that bad against Jokic. He kind of does learn. He has learned to bang a little bit in the playoffs when it comes with the bigs, and now he finally gets Jokic, and he's not doing anything. Um, so yeah, I mean, it sucks because I'll be honest. I imagine if this was a few days ago, we would have had a lot more to say about the Phoenix Suns on what we projected or predicted they would have done. But unfortunately, 2 games down, the only thing we can say is step it up on the defensive side of the ball. Like that's all that can be said. Out of At the end of the day, they don't have no bench. But
Yeah.
they were kind of in most of these games without a bench. If they
Yeah.
would have got a
True.
couple more stops, that's what
I mean, look, they went
and they
like
know
10
they
and
don't
0
have a
with
bench.
when KD was on the floor and the Phoenix Suns. They won 10 and 0 the first 10 games with him. So that's crazy.
And that's the thing when you got someone like Kevin Durant and Devin Booker at a team, it's definitely definitely easy to imagine you can win a few games or at least do it without the defense. But I definitely do think that they need to do more of pulling Jokic in, including him on defense, getting him tired out. It sounds crazy, but that's probably the only real good thing you can think of at this point with a caliber of a player like that. Is
No, you're
let's try to
right.
tire him out, include him in the defense, maybe get him in foul trouble. He's honestly not the best defensive player as either. The only issue is the Suns excel off the mid range to do what they need to do. They have to not stop at the mid range, but force their way through the paint, through
Yeah, you know
Jokic,
what? That's a good
and
point
getting him
because
in those foul troubles, getting him involved in action. Because as long as he's hedging and they're coming right off the screen shooting middies, all he has to do is just stay in front of them and jump up a little bit.
that's a good point. And I'll be honest, even like Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon are tall, so they're always staying like around that elbow area of the free throw line, so they're gonna stop you if you try to hit those mid range shots. And Devin Booker loves mid range shots. So does CP3. Now we'll see without him what happens if they're gonna start maybe going around the outside a little bit more. But CP3 and Devin Booker both love the mid range, and so does
And
KD
Kevin Durant,
sometimes. Like
yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say so
No,
does
that
KD
the
sometimes. Like yeah,
even before they got KD, it was a team in the league by far that shot the most middies. Add
true.
KD, it's not even close. And
Yeah,
that's
it's
what I'm
not even
saying. Like
close.
if that's
Yeah,
their game,
that's
that's their
true.
game. That's fine. But you might have to switch it up a little bit. Like that's what I don't know what it comes to when these type of defensive or not even
Mm.
just these IQ battles. Like at this point, do you lean in to what you do so well, or not? I wouldn't say stray away from it, but do you try to add variations in to deter the other team's strength?
And my thing is yes. My thing is yes because I think the way that you should play Jokic should. Now the NBA doesn't do this, but I think you play zone on a guy like Jokic. You put two guys right in the lane on Jokic because you know he's going to command all that size. Now what the problem with Minnesota why that didn't work is Cat doesn't like playing down low, man. He likes staying on the outside, so he's scared to play down low with guys. He does not like playing defense against the big men in the West. I don't know why. I don't know what's up with that. That's literally why they brought in Rudy Gobert to do that. He couldn't do it. But what I think that if Phoenix wants to do good, they need to bring in like a guy like Alex Len maybe with with Aiton. Even if not that, maybe just have a guy like Aiton in there with KD playing a type of zone. I know they don't do that always, but I could see that happening one or two of these games.
I think that's the opposite of what they should do.
Hmm.
Uh, Zones their teams to shoot. Not only is Denver a shooting team, you have the best person you can have in the world who knows where to pass the ball with their back to the basket with someone's open. If someone's open, well, if two people are on them, someone's open. And that's not the center you want to allow because
That's
Aaron
true.
Gordon cutting, Jamal Murray getting open, no matter where Michael Porter Jr. catches the ball, he's shooting it. It don't even matter if he's open or not.
Yeah,
Like
I agree with.
that's not the team that you give any space. Like, I think you got to force Jokic on the defensive side of the ball and on
Hmm.
offense to stop Jokic. At the end of the day, you
You
really
know
got
what
to
though?
put a body on him and get him out the paint. He is like
That's a good
he's
point.
slow,
Yeah,
so
that's a
he
good
shouldn't
point
be able to
though
get by everyone. Go ahead.
about like him being down there and passing it off. You're right. Denver is the best team at having a guy like Jokic finding the open three man and them shooting the three. That's for sure. I just think that they need to try to double him more because especially in the first two games he's been killing them down low, and they need to find a way, even with points. I mean, yeah, Murray took over the first game, but uh, he was still balling out with offensive rebounds and just keeping the time keep going. And the way that they won those first two games wasn't three pointers. Denver, they won with defense, like you said, like you pointed that out. That was perfect. Like I think that if Phoenix wants to win, they need to try to make them shoot more three pointers. Like if they make it, they make it. But if they don't, then you're doubling at least the best player. You got to double Jokic, I think. What do you think?
So I would say as soon as he get it, send someone swipe at it a little bit. Um, but this it's not a. That's why he gets the assist he gets because he
True,
can go off for
because
the
they
points
make
he
him.
go off, and then when you sit there and double him, he's always gonna find the open person. That's like actually falling into their strengths. Um, I would think more of a and it's so crazy because like everything I'm thinking of, they already do. You know, like it's not like we could think of anything that the coaches in the NBA haven't
That's
thought
why
of.
I'm saying this is gonna be so hard to win this series because you
Yeah, I
see
know.
how tough. Like in other years, Denver does not seem this tough, but they got
Yeah.
everyone back. They got Michael Porter Jr. making shots. Aaron Gordon is playing great defense, and obviously Jokic is playing still at an MVP level. Even though Embiid's gonna get it, and finally Murray is into a league of his own, and he's not a superstar. You're right. There's no second superstar on that team. You only have that one superstar in Jokic, even though he walks around so slow and he moves like he's like a gorilla, like oh, like his arms are so low to the ground. Like my man literally walks like a gorilla sometimes. But I'm not gonna try to make fun of my man because he be balling out. But finally, Jamal Murray's being, a secondary option, which is what Denver needs. And once he starts making shots, they are so tough to beat, man. They're so tough to beat.
100%. And honestly, because I was thinking of keeping Jokic out the paint, him standing out the 3 point line with
Yo,
the
he
way
makes
everyone
threes,
else is
bro.
playing. Not only is he gonna make threes, but he also great at assisting, uh, facing the basket as well. Like watch him just standing there and everyone else doing backdoor cuts, setting screens for each other. He'll still get 10 assists. So at this point, I don't know what Phoenix can do. I do know they need to, for the love of God, I mean, it's a tough task. I don't know if they can, but they need to win two at home. If they want any
Yes.
chance of competing in the series.
Yep.
But if they go back to Denver 3-1,
So
maybe they can squeeze out a game in Denver, but they don't squeeze out two in a row, in my opinion. So I definitely got the most six, and that's just me giving them six because it's KD. I don't see KD going out like that. But at the end of the day, Nuggets are looking good. Phoenix in the trouble, and I got this as Nuggets in six.
hey, Nuggets in six. Beating the one of the best players in the league, KD, coming on to one
Hmm.
of the best teams in the league that's been balling out the last few years. But you know what? I'm just gonna say it right now. That's exactly where I got it, bro. I got this as a 6 game series. I'll be honest. After they won game two, I was definitely more surprised because what I saw Phoenix being up by 8 with 5 minutes left in the third quarter in game two with a chance to win that game. And then they came out so short in that fourth quarter. They shot so terribly. And seeing them have a bad quarter like this with guys like CP3, with guys like Booker and guys like KD on the squad, that makes me think that they just don't have no cohesion there. What I really saw the end of the third quarter, the bench players on obviously Denver taking care of business, man. My man Brown has been balling out. I got to give him so much credit. I think he's going to keep doing his thing in this series. I do think that once Phoenix uses Cameron Payne more as a point guard, I do expect them to actually play a little bit more with KD shooting the ball more, and KD's and Booker, they're going to be holding the ball a lot more than when CP3 is on the court. I do expect that, but I just think that this, just like you, once they get to Phoenix, if they don't win two, then it's going to be over quick. I think that Denver is going to have a few close games in Phoenix, and one of those games Denver is going to take care of, and they're going to win in the fourth quarter again. And then once you get back to Denver, they're going to take it in six. So I got Denver as well, finally being Denver, the number one seed that they should have been the last few years, with an MVP caliber player, making it to the Western Conference Finals.
100%. And at this point, while we don't see much competitiveness in this series already, we expect them to be facing what we think is probably going to be our version of the last time or the last NBA Finals because it's the last time we get to see LeBron versus Curry.
Brown
So
versus Curry.